Hey runners, happy Saturday, January 25th. Today I'll be recapping my 11-mile run here, closing out week 7 of the Atlanta Half Marathon training with one more day to go before we hit the 8-mile mark. I am a little bit under the weather, so I'm having a little bit of hot noon. It's basically a noon tablet. Those electrolyte tablet fizz drops with a lot of the vitamins and important electrolytes. It's the ginger lemonade. My wife is a Noon ambassador, and so she likes the tablets. Typically put them in cold water, but they also work great and fizz really quickly in hot water. So a little bit scratchy in the throat. I may be in the early stages of some kind of cold bug, so bear with me. But today was supposed to be an easy day, 11 miles, the last of the third week build-up before I go into a cutback week next week with the upcoming 10K race. Originally, I was going to do my run out at Kiwanis Park. For those of you who live in Phoenix or the Tempe area, familiar with the park, it's a pretty flat area. It's a paved path for multi-use activities, running, walking, biking, as well as a nice, hard, smooth dirt path. But my wife's mile race that she was going to do later this evening was pushed forward to a different venue. So instead of going out there and having to rush home, I decided to just stay home and run in the neighborhood. Little, few hills here and there, but nothing too crazy. I was really running today to work on my heart rate, which I'm using an external heart rate strap because the optical heart rate on the Garmin watches, they're accurate, but a lot of times you'll get some miles in there where it just goes kind of wonky and tell me that I'm pretty much going 100% effort when I'm doing a very easy run. So I did have little issues for the first mile. It had me at about 158 beats per minute. But what happens sometimes is it adjusts itself, and on the second mile, it is right on. And in this case, it was for the next 10 miles. So my goal today was to try to keep it either close to 130 or under that 125. And with the exception of that crazy first mile, I did actually go at about 125, 126 beats per minute, which I calculated to be about 74%. For those of you that are asking, well, how do you know what percent heart rate, unless you've done the VO2 max test, which I have not, but I'm doing the old Karvonen heart rate method, which is basically taking 220, which is the theoretical max heart rate at birth minus your age. And so when I did that, I took what my average heart rate was, and then I divided it by my max. For me, it'd be 170 theoretically, and I was running today about 74%, which is good. I felt pretty good for the first, I want to say about 8.35 miles. And how do I know that exactly? Because I put out my water bottle at mile 4, and then just outside my neighborhood at mile, it'd be about 8.2. And I stopped at 4, got a swig of water, and then I popped in 2 of my Honey Stinger Chews, the fruit smoothie, which I really like. And they last a long time. They're basically like these little gummy chews, kind of, I can't really see here, bad illustration, but maybe the size of probably like a dime diameter, and obviously a little thicker, like about half an inch or so. And pop that in my mouth, and they usually last me for about 3 miles, sometimes 4. I just kind of like tuck it in my cheeks, and you know, I get a nice little flow of electrolytes. Not a ton, but you know, a little bit going. So I stopped at mile 4 to get a swig of water, and then I did my route again, and I came home and picked up the water at mile 8.2, and then, you know, our house is just right down the street. Went there, threw off the gloves, and got a swig of my, it's a mix of water and Scratch electrolyte, and Scratch is a really good product, very clean, really good tasting actually, another form of electrolyte. So I took that, and it was after that, shortly after that, when I left the neighborhood to finish my run, I had still like 2.65 miles to go, and when I got to mile 9, I was starting to kind of feel it. The bottom of my feet were getting sore. I've been wearing the Kinvaras, which I do like for my long runs and my speed session. And this is the second time wearing the brand new pair. Not as much cushion in those, of course, as my daily trainers, which I use the Saucony Rides, but then again, those are heavier and you know, typically designed for all distances. I use it for my easy runs and recovery runs. So wore the Kinvaras, and was starting to feel that pressure on the bottom of my heel, because I'm striking on my heel. But I pushed through it and closed out strong, ran a 9:01 on the last mile, which was about 134 beats per minute. I knew it was going to be higher because I was running faster. So overall, though, I feel really good about my effort. You know, despite being a little bit under the weather, that really didn't come into play. I mean, I'm sure it did play a little bit of a role, but, you know, I wasn't like hacking up or anything like that. I wasn't coughing a lot. I wasn't really thinking about it. You know, about 2 hours before my run, I got up and I had a bagel with a little bit of peanut butter and a whole banana, a little bit of water, and then I got out the door 2 hours later and felt pretty good. So I've been doing that lately for my long runs, and I think I'll be continuing that all the way up to the race day. So making sure that, you know, I have something that is familiar, and that's my advice to all you runners out there, that when you are training for a particular long distance race, half marathon, marathon, that you kind of experiment with types of foods that you have in the morning for your long run. You know, really what's going to feel good to you when you do those long runs, and you're not going to have any issues with, especially on race day. So I would definitely do that. For me, the bagel, and I've been doing a whole bagel with peanut butter and a whole banana. Now on race day, you know, with nerves and all, I may cut that down to like a half a bagel and peanut butter, but I know that that works for me. There are no GI issues, so yeah, it's been working great. So overall, my time today, looking here, was 1:44:26 for 11.1 miles, and that's a 9:24 pace with 126 beats per minute. That's a solid run. I couldn't be any happier. I pretty much ran the way I wanted to, kept my heart rate down. I didn't force it, which typically when I do run, I am definitely forcing the pace. I'm probably closer to the 135. So it was good for me not to, and kind of really see what the difference is when I'm about 10 beats less. So I help my body, you know, recover a little bit easier after the run. So really happy. Kudos to my wife, who I ended up doing the mile race that we head out up north to Paradise Valley Community College, and she took I think a 7th overall out of, there was about 13 or 14 women in her field. She was targeting 5:48, and she ran 5:48 right on the dot. But not only did she hit her goal, but she ran faster every 400 split, a fraction faster, which was great, and she was very excited. I will say this on the side note, that she did run 13 miles before the sun came up, and before sunrise she was finished, and she did 13 miles as a warm-up. Didn't bother her at all, didn't hinder her race, and she felt great, and it worked. So kudos to her. But that's it. That's a little recap of the race. I'm going to try to get some more fluids in and relax here this weekend. I've got a run lined up for tomorrow, so it's going to be an easy 3. If I'm feeling good, I'll get out there and put the run in. Otherwise, I'm going to see how my body feels. And I got a 10K race coming up a week from Sunday, so I want to make sure that I am recovered here in the next couple of days. So hope you're having a good weekend, and good luck to you if you're having any races, or congrats if you completed a race this Saturday. Hope to hear from you soon, and if you like what you see and hear, please give me a thumbs up down below in the comment section. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so at the bottom there, and I appreciate it. Wishing you all a great weekend. Take care.